Welcome back to the Triple ST, everybody.
Christopher.
Steven. Today we're coming in hot. We're switching it up a little bit. We've been on the topic of video games and comic books or video games
Yeah,
alone for quite some time,
we've been hitting the video games pretty hard, and half of that's been making fun of Nintendo.
despite investing quite a bit of money into games and accessories for it here lately,
Yeah,
especially. But nonetheless, let us not forget our roots. We talk about comic books. We talk about movies too. I mean, we started off with Zack Snyder being one of the biggest things we brought into the beginning.
yeah.
So, uh, what fantastic series would you like to bring up today as far as comic books? What realm of comic books are you finding yourself divulged in lately?
Well, we got a couple of things on the orientation. That's not even the right word. I wanted to say, I had on the docket in my head, but I didn't want to say on the docket. I wanted something a little flashier,
No, I think on the dock it's
a little
flashy
more
enough.
pizzazz, a little more jazz hands.
Yeah.
And I don't know, orientation is just not the right word. But so anybody that's following comic books ought to by now know what the Absolute Universe is. It is DC's newest launch initiative. It's a whole separate reality for mainline DC.
Okay.
And they basically took an event book and they say, okay, from this event book, we're launching a whole separate universe.
Okay.
and and all the characters in the I just did a Trump thing. All the characters in it have been reinvented
Okay.
in a big way, like all of them, like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, all the Justice League characters we know and love have just been
From the beginning.
rebuilt from the ground up.
Okay.
Bullet highlights. Let's just stay on the big three. Just as a matter of simplicity, like Wonder Woman. The rule was no money, no family, no island.
For all these people or all the
The
heroes.
big three.
Okay. Okay, I'm with you.
Like Bruce Wayne did not come from money. He did not have the resources to become Batman. He still became Batman anyway.
Okay.
Superman did not land in Smallville, Kansas to be raised by the Kents and establish this massive network of love and friendship and humanity.
Right.
Wonder Woman was not raised on Themyscira by the Amazons,
Okay.
so that
I didn't know her background story. So when you said the island, you lost me a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
that was their the writing team. That was their golden rule was no money, no family, no island.
Okay. So we're making a whole new story here.
Yeah,
Get buckle up.
yeah, and just as a matter of information, I don't have the actual figures, but from the resources that I pull from, Absolute Batman is like the most successful comic book in the world.
That's interesting.
I don't know what the margin is. Like it's obviously not selling at auction for $4.5 billion or whatever Action Comics number one just went for
Did one of those just sell recently?
within the with yeah, yeah, recently, and it was the most pristine version of it that they found to date.
Okay. Is
So
it a
it
graded
sold,
copy?
yeah.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
it was graded. It's like the most pristine copy that's
Yeah.
out there to
Basically
cut.
a 101.
Yeah. It was just like a couple. It was just a couple of points shy of
Yeah.
being a perfect copy.
Like a 9.8 or a
Yeah, so
9.6.
so it sold for more than any other version of the comic book has
That's
to
crazy.
date, and it was substantial,
Well, now I have
like
to know.
selling for millions, like 6.5 million or something crazy like that. And anyway, so just some of the highlights are that Batman, he didn't come from money. His parents were middle class,
Right.
and when so he grew up middle class, and all of the characters that would eventually become his rogues gallery or his childhood friends in the Absolute Universe, like the Riddler, Edward Nygma, Penguin, Oswald Cobblepot, Killer Croc, Waylon Jones, Two Face, Harvey. These are all his school buddies,
Right.
and so he's growing up with them as his friends. He doesn't have a butler. Alfred Pennyworth is like a mercenary that comes to town on a job, and that's how he meets Alfred Pennyworth,
Okay.
who's his butler, and what till he was murdered in Mainline.
Right.
And Wonder Woman isn't raised on the island. She's actually stolen from the Amazons, given to her worst enemy as an infant, and raised by her in hell.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not a fan of that.
Superman
I mean, they could have done anything else with that. I don't know.
Superman doesn't leave Krypton as a baby. He is probably 8 or 10 years old
Okay.
when he's forced to flee Krypton from its destruction, and a lot of the population actually manages to get away. Now, it's not immediately clear what happens to all of them. Like, even his parents might have escaped Krypton's destruction.
Okay.
When he gets to Earth, he lands at the Kent farm, but he doesn't spend a lot of time with him. He basically they basically nurse him back to health, and he hangs out for a little while, but then he's discovered and he has to flee to avoid being captured and imprisoned.
Right.
And so he just does the Incredible Hulk thing where he bounces around the world for like 5 years before he
Figures out his way or whatever.
but before he starts to really take off.
Right.
And it's like that with all the characters get these massive redesigns.
At what point do they realize they have superpowers? Like they know this as a kid, right? Like Superman himself.
Well, like because he's been on Krypton
Where
for
everybody is super, right?
they don't have powers on Krypton.
Oh, all right.
They
See, I
they
didn't know enough background.
to them they're normal.
Okay.
They don't
Because the
do anything.
Krypton keeps them from having their abilities.
Krypton's red sun is to them what our sun is to us. You can't fly under a yellow sun.
Okay.
But when, they come here, all of a sudden they're absorbing yellow sunlight, which gives them superpowers.
So he would have realized this when he came,
When he
when
got
he's 8
here,
to 10 or whatever. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Shortly after he got here, he's like, man, his ship AI, his suit is like, I don't know, this yellow sun's gonna do weird shit to you.
Right.
What do you mean?
Here we are.
Yeah,
Right.
but I've read a few of those stories, and then I've done research on them a few more, and I want to shout out Variant Comics YouTube channel and Comics Explained YouTube channel because their videos actually gave me a lot of the information I have now. They're very informative. They were very well put together. It's the kind of channel I kind of wish we could put together.
Right.
And I mean, I can only hope to aspire to that level of.
I'm gonna have to read a lot more than what I currently do. Watch a few more movies.
Yeah, gotta.
We have a movie night once a week. We've been trying to. I'm trying to convince kids to watch like the 27 movies in the Marvel universe and or the
Yeah.
cinematic universe, whatever it's called. And then like all the Harry Potters and all the Lord of the Rings. Like I've never sat down and just watched all this stuff from beginning to end, and I think it'd be fun.
Well, I don't know that I'd put them on hard boiled, but you could probably get away with letting them watch the.
Marvel is probably as far as we'll get.
Yeah.
They won't. They might. There's a couple of them that'll get into Harry Potter, but it'll be hard to dedicate them all into the whole series. Kind of want to read the books. Been reading books at home lately and getting into that. So
I we a little bit of background is we tried to record earlier, and because we refused to print episodes that are needle skip on the record quality, we threw that in the can and we're re-recording for the second time today. We think we've figured out the issue.
I will tell you, we did have one hiccup already, but I think it's because I tried to open the internet browser and look up how much that comic was. So I immediately closed it, and we've been smooth since.
Well, let's
So
not jinx ourselves.
I'm gonna do no more research on the computer right now, and we're just gonna let it run what it needs to run. But it does seem like, other than me trying to do multiple things on here, it has ironed itself out pretty smoothly.
But we talked about this earlier. We're running okay on time, so I think we got enough time to cover this again. So you said that you'd never seen the Lord of the Rings movies,
Yeah, no,
and I had seen the Lord of the Rings movies first, and I started reading the books later.
right?
Okay, and this is just one of those bonus topics that was not originally on
Docket.
the docket. It was not on the syllabus, but we're gonna add it into the lesson plan anyway.
It was in the first one. Might as well be in this one too.
Yeah, at least we'll try to highlight all the things we talked about earlier.
Keep it authentic.
You know, have that genuine back and forth game of pass that we
Do so well at.
I think so.
Agreed.
So I watched the Lord of the Rings movies back when they were releasing when I was in high school, and I watched them before I started reading the books, before Rings of Power came out, before the hot, and I didn't think anything about it. But a while back, I thought, well, hell, I'll read the books,
Right.
and you have to take them as two separate things. Like you can't look at one and think, oh, well, this is supposed to be a one-to-one adaptation
Right.
of the because you're
It's too much.
it it doesn't work that
Too
way.
much of a difference. Yeah.
It's too much of a difference. It is too striking.
Had you already read the Harry Potter books and watched the movies to come to that conclusion?
I had read I read a few of the Harry Potter books, but they were released a few years before they started making the movies. I want to say it wasn't until they started making the movies that my mother got me the first couple of them, and I might have read them around the same time,
Right.
but I I don't I I don't remember the timeline.
Right.
I'll say that. I don't remember what the timeline was. But and that is a series, that is a book to movie franchise where I have an easier time saying, okay, the books are one thing and the movies are one thing, but for some reason there's a disconnect in my brain where I can't do that with Lord of the Rings
Yeah.
because I was trying to read the books, and I'm like, what? I don't even understand what's going on here because he's Tolkien was so descriptive in the way he wrote those books that he would describe every blade of grass in the field and every chip off every boulder on the side of the mountain
Yeah. I like that boulder.
and
That's a nice boulder.
every thicket of trees and
Fields and
it
whatever it
just
is.
it's the attention to detail is striking and in ways unnecessary, but I get lost in the fact that as the journey starts, they're just walking everywhere.
Right.
They talk about how they'd walk for a while and then they'd stop for a small lunch, and while they were having their small lunch somebody had to recite poetry, like just pulled a wild burr out of their ass and just started reciting a poem.
Shakespearean it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
just felt inspired, and all of a sudden we're singing songs and anyway, to cut some of the meat off of the fat here, I read this review not long ago about the difference between the books and the movies, and they said that basically what they had done was they weren't adapting the books. They were basically making action movies for teenagers. That's what they turned the Lord of the Rings into because they're
Right,
so starkly different from each other,
right.
and that's how they sold the movies by making action movies to teenagers because action movies for teenagers because there was no way to adapt what was there into something that would be entertaining to watch for
The family.
the family,
Right.
Like it's just there's not a lot of action. It's basically just a journey to a place, and that you just can't sell a journey somewhere. Most of the time, you gotta put some jazz hands
So,
on it.
yeah, gotta be some build up for it and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah.
but and that's that segment aside. One of the one of the things that I wanted to talk about, and this is probably the third time we've talked about it now since we have to redo this conversation, is that not that long ago, I saw an article on Facebook that suggested that the Hulk in modern cinema has basically been nerfed down so hard, whether that's in his his abilities or just the state of his rage,
Right.
that they didn't feel like he had been properly expressed on film before. And I got to thinking about what that means, whether just classic, let's say classic Rage Hulk in their eyes, where he's just barreling through walls and mowing down every third person that crosses his path and ripping people apart and eating, just basically shoving people into his maw and eating them whole or whatever they have in their head.
Right.
And there was another thing that I saw, the article that Facebook suggested to me was a storyline where it, as I did the research, I find out that like in some dark alternate timeline, the Hulk has completely gone off the rails,
Okay.
and a bunch of teen superheroes basically try to corner him and subdue him.
Right.
And this one girl, her name is Tyra, she leaves at him. She's like, I got this. And she leaves at him. There you go. I wonder if it's heavy motion.
I don't know, but it's not peaking over 20% CPU, so it's not bad. You're good.
But so she leaps at him and he grabs her out of the air
Yeah.
and he says, make a wish. And then he just rips her in half. And it's like a violent, visceral, oh my God, kind of.
Right. Scene gory scene for the
Yeah.
Hulk. Yeah.
And so I got, and then I saw that and then I read this review. The two things happen relatively close to each other. And I'm like, all right, so what is where are we splitting the difference here? Because as far as I always understood the Hulk, like he was never one to just be like that. Like, sure, he was a violent giant rage machine, but it wasn't like as far as I read him, he always understood the difference between innocent bystanders and non-combatants and the people who were actually the targets of his rage.
Right.
Like he I don't know, there's only so much collateral. One of the big things is, superheroes have to observe their collateral damage anymore.
Right.
So, they always have to, the aftermath of the battle. And it's like, how about the 18 buildings you just demolished? You think nobody was inside of any of them?
Yeah. I love that concept.
And so they just that's the grounded realism
Yeah.
anymore is that there's always an aftermath to their battles. And so he's not always conscious of the collateral damage he might be inflicting, but he's also not just
Intentionally causing it.
intentionally just terrorizing innocent people.
It's kind of like in The Incredibles in the first one. everybody ends up suing Mr. Incredible and the superheroes for one guy was trying to commit suicide and he was mad that Mr. Incredible saved him, and then all the people in the train car that didn't die from an explosion and running off the
Yeah,
rails,
broken necks and everything. Yeah,
yeah, wanted to sue
Bru-
him for pain and damage. And it's like, well, all right, next time I'll just let you die.
well, that's what he's like. You didn't save my life. You ruined my death.
Yeah, quite literally.
It's
But I do always think that too, because like, there's so much that happens in that scene before the whole train accident. It's like there is a lot of collateral damage that doesn't get taken into account. And they make
uh,
that point in the second one when he's like, well, we got insurance. And he's like, well, insurance is key. And he was like, well, Mr. Incredible was like, well, I'm ready for my first thing. What is it? And he was
no,
like,
no, no, we don't
oh,
want to lead with you. Let's not test whether insurance is going to pick up the check yet or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just like that's part.
I really should have let you say that because
That's
you
okay.
you were gonna run that scene and I took it from you. I'm
That's okay.
sorry. Chris probably would have done that better for you guys, but I
Heavy duty problems require heavy duty solutions. We're gonna solve all kinds of problems.
but that's kind of something I mean, for the crowd, like what is the interpretation like, because when the Hulk first came out and he was gray, like he killed people then. But
Like randomly?
I haven't done the research.
What are you talking about it for?
I haven't it's the let me be more specific. I have not done the deep dive research on Gray Hulk.
Okay,
Like that's its own era of Hulk.
right. The
So,
the pre Hollywood Hulk that we all have come to know and
and
love.
maybe that's what maybe that's what whoever wrote that article was talking about. Like when the Hulk first came out, he was gray. He was a Ebenezer Scrooge like miser who wanted to be left alone, and
Right.
maybe anybody that maybe he killed gangsters. I don't know, but green skin modern Hulk, as far as I ever read him, is as wildly out there and off the rails as he got. And somewhere in his subconscious, Bruce, the idea is that somewhere even deep in his subconscious mind, Bruce Banner has still got one hand on the wheel.
Right. Like just a little piece of his subconscious has control of
Even
that.
if he's bare white knuckling with just one finger, there is still just enough of Bruce Banner.
Veer away from total destruction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's, maybe forgetting storylines where he's like been brainwashed by the leader or something like that, or there's some external force controlling him,
Yeah.
then, most of the time he's not just mowing down innocent civilian bystanders. He still recognizes
The separation of what
the,
he's there to attack and,
yeah,
defend more or less.
yeah. So anybody out there who has an opinion, which version of the Hulk are you following? Because I think they caught him pretty good with what we've seen so far, versus what I always understood about the Hulk.
Right.
Like I feel like they've
The only one I've ever seen
gotten
is
pretty close.
the early 2000s one.
2003
That's what it is. Ended up at the Dollar Theater at the mall, and I watched it a couple times there too.
had Eric Bana and Jennifer Connelly and Sam Elliott in it. The guy from Sweet Home Alabama, Josh Lucas, he was in it.
I've never seen Sweet Home Alabama.
Nick Nolte was in it.
Fair. I thought it was a pretty good movie.
I enjoyed it.
Is
I
that part of the cinematic
No,
universe? No.
no.
Is any of the Hulk movies part of it?
The Incredible Hulk
It is.
with Edward Norton and Liv Tyler.
I'm assuming Netflix has that or Disney probably has that as a combination thing where you could just click on one and it'll take you through the whole cinematic universe
I
in
don't
order.
know that they would be allowed to use like standalone Hulk movies because Universal still owns the license to Hulk.
Even the Incredible Hulk?
Well,
Just
Hulk,
Hulk.
just
Yeah, whatever
Hulk.
says Hulk in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like they have the license for standalone Hulk movies, so I don't know that they would dump their films on Disney Plus.
Well, at one point, Disney had the rights to it because they did say enjoy the whole cinematic universe here or whatever.
Yeah.
So at one point they did have it. To say that they still do, I don't know.
Well, if they do, that's news to me.
It was
I
either
did.
them or Netflix. Maybe it was Netflix that picked up the whole thing. Maybe Disney let them pick it up too.
Uh,
I can't remember. Sorry. I'm
we're gonna have to do the research.
gonna quit talking about it because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Understand that most of this we're throwing theory at the wall. Now, some of that theory is grounded in relevant information, and some of it's our own personal
We haven't.
conspiracy on the matter.
Right.
Well, we're
We
not we're not doing as bad, are we?
no, we haven't dropped any frames in 10 minutes,
Good deal.
so we're doing all right. And we're only
Just
dropping a few frames. We're not
just
dropping like
entire
10.
chunks,
Yeah,
seconds at a time.
yeah, guys. We tried to record this earlier, and we had 9 different points where like it skipped 3 to 4 seconds, and it was just
Uh,
disgusting.
it's fine.
It's hurtful to the ears.
It's not fun to watch, and we
No,
don't like to put those episodes out there. And the fact that we've done as many as we have is it's not good for the channel. We realize that. We do everything we can to put out good quality content. Um,
we're making so now though. We're getting there.
I hope that with the steps we've taken since we've sat down again have put us in a good direction. It doesn't seem like we've had all the hiccups, but maybe one.
I mean, other than the one I think I forced opening the browser,
Yeah.
we haven't had any encoding crashes. So I think we're doing all right.
Well,
Anyway, um, so back to the what was the comic books, the what universe or the what run? It's
the
called.
absolute universe.
Thank you. You've only read two parts of it, correct?
Yeah.
Batman and Superman. The rest of it, you got that information from the
Yeah.
two podcasts you spot. Is there how many do they anticipate on doing? I know you said there's like 5 or 6 of them out already, or
There,
7.
as far as I know, there's at least six.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how many they're gonna try to do. I imagine eventually this is all gonna come, all the single characters are gonna come together in an absolute Justice League.
Do these worlds cross paths with the like main
They,
storyline
they,
that's already
I,
been existing?
I believe that they do in the event book that they're all, the next event book they got going on, which is DCKO, where the main line characters meet their absolute universe counterparts.
Okay.
I haven't read that yet. I don't know much about it. I
In
believe
due
that
time.
I believe they're supposed to cross over there, and maybe the idea is that, every once in a while they'll be like, "Hey,
I need your help.
you over there, come here,"
Yeah.
or something like that. I don't know if like the absolute universe is going to become a permanent fixture or if it's only going to last as long as whatever event book they're trying to connect the two threads with. Your guess is as good as mine. I haven't really been excited for this. Uh, what was I calling it earlier? This initiative since they announced it.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the human condition. We don't like change. We don't like,
An adaptation we don't feel represents what we've come to know very well.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I,
You build a rapport with this character for decades now,
yeah,
as the reader, you've digested what's come of it. And we've talked about this before. You've had to see other people's artistic flourish plenty of other times, some of which great, some of which god awful and astonishing that it even came out.
yeah.
Uh, how do you feel about the Absolute Universe? Do you feel like did you at least enjoy the Superman version of it you read and the
I
Batman?
I will say that I enjoyed Batman. Like I can see why Batman has been a success. Like I'm
Yeah,
not crazy about everything in it, but
I mean, that's fair.
I I can at least see why it's been successful because, Scott's and this isn't going to mean anything to you necessarily, but for the people out there that follow the stuff a lot more, when they do the new 52 relaunch back in 2011, I think it was. Like Scott Snyder is the person that they brought in to direct
Same thing,
to write Batman,
right?
and he did just an amazing run on Batman.
Yeah,
And he introduced a lot of things. He did a lot of neat little changes that added up in a big way.
right.
Because it's just one of the things about the new 52. Like some characters, basically, when they said, okay, everything pre-Flashpoint, everything after Flashpoint, some things changed and some things stayed the same. Batman stayed relatively the same,
Right.
and he just made a lot of little changes.
Yeah.
But all those little changes eventually added up, and it's like, okay, it was small and over time, and it was gradual, and
Before you know it, he's a whole new character.
before we got a whole new ball game. We have introduced golf into baseball, and somehow it's all the better.
Right.
And so it's like, all right, well, Scott Snyder's doing Batman again in this absolute universe. I'll give it a chance. It's and I mean, what he's doing is different. Like it is a ground level change to Batman. Like it is just a sweeping reinvention of Batman, but it's also entertaining.
Right.
But I'm not crazy about the art because even though he's a grown adult, like everybody is, even Superman, like they're adults, like they're in 20, 21, 23, something like that, but they are still in a way drawn in as such that they still almost look like children.
Right.
Like even though he's in his 20s and he's just this massive hulking monster of a Batman, I mean, there's panels where it's like he still looks like a little kid.
Okay.
And I'm not really crazy about the artwork in some ways, but I don't know, some of the changes he's made are interesting, and especially what he's got going on with the Joker. Like the absolute version of the Joker is this just wild thing. And so I'll be really interested to see where they go with that. But
Yeah.
like Superman, I'm not really feeling it. And I suppose it's because he's like got like long, he's like got the long boyish hair, going on. And his costume is like dark, 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 dark blue, almost black gray. And it's just,
Too angsty.
yeah.
Yeah. And we're back.
We hope you enjoyed those brief messages from our sponsors. What sponsors?
Let me just throw in a few random clips there.
Wendy's is sponsoring us today. That's where we stop for lunch,
That's right.
or we're sponsoring them because we definitely don't have an agreement with them of any kind. So free advertising.
That's right.
Um, but I don't much approve of Superman's redesign. Batman at least still looks like Batman. He's just bigger.
Yeah.
Superman, I'm not crazy about. I'm I'm not. Maybe it'll turn around. Maybe somewhere down the road, another 10 or 12, 50 issues, whatever the long term plan is. He'll look a little bit closer to what we all. The whole idea, I guess, is that the hope is still there. Like all those heroes are still there. They just have to fight harder to get to the same
Ending.
ending we already know.
Right.
They got to burn that candle all the brighter to get to the same space that the mainline characters are already at.
Right.
But I it got me thinking because Marvel, DC and Marvel, they basically run the same game with mild differences and maybe a few years apart. But Marvel's had separate universes going on the same time. They had what they call the 616 universe going on. Like they got the Ultimate Universe going on.
Okay.
That's their second brand.
Right.
So maybe DC feels like they need to run a second brand, so they came up with Absolute. But one of the things that DC did a lot of back in the mid 90s to early 2000s, one of the things that Marvel was famous for was their What If comics,
Yeah.
where it was just the characters that you knew, the names you knew in unfamiliar circumstances.
Okay.
Like one of the storylines was, what if the Punisher's family was never killed?
Okay.
And so, like for half the issue, it's like he never became the Punisher until they were just killed in a slightly different way. So his war was aimed in a slightly different direction.
Right.
And like, what if the Venom symbiote had bonded with Ghost Rider, or just different
Some real
oddities?
very
Like,
off. Yeah.
yeah. And DC did the same things under their Elseworlds imprint. Like a popular theme was Superman's rocket ship landing somewhere other than Smallville, Kansas.
Right.
Like it landed in feudal Japan, it landed in medieval England, it landed in Gotham City, and he was raised by Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Right.
It landed in Soviet Russia.
Did you read any of those?
I read a lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. Did you enjoy them?
Yeah.
Those some pretty interesting tangents of the same
Yeah,
story.
and it didn't go on forever. Like it didn't just continue on into absurdity to the point where it wasn't fun to read. It's just like this tiny, this tiny self-contained little. Oh, well, this is an extended. This is kind of an interesting dream sequence we're all having right here, and
Right.
like, there was an issue, there was an Elseworlds bat. Like there's even a Superman Elseworlds where he basically he dies and he gets reanimated as like a Frankenstein's monster version of himself.
Okay.
So he's like the Superman monster.
Right.
There's one of Batman where he's actually Elliot Ness, so he has to become the Batman to fight Al Capone and the mafia.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
yeah, and there's one where Batman gets bitten by Dracula and turns into a vampire, and so he's basically warring off his vampiric nature as long as he possibly can until he finally succumbs to it, and
Right.
then everybody has to basically turn on him and try to destroy him to stop the outbreak of vampirism in Gotham, and just any wild scenario you can come up with. They probably turned it into an Elseworlds comic book,
Right.
and but they didn't go on forever. Like they didn't just create a whole branching universe that there was no real end to, as long as the writing team kept coming up with ideas. It's just this tiny little, oh,
Right.
and then you put it away and remembered that.
It was there for old time's sake, if you will.
Yeah.
That's
So
funny.
then you wake up from the dream, you go back to the mainline continuity, and but one of the other things that we talked about earlier was that Marvel needs their jazz hands.
Yeah.
Marvel has a habit in their marketing apparatus constantly adding adjectives to the names of all their characters. Like it's and especially when a new writing team comes in, they're like, all right, well, it's the mighty Thor, and then it's the immortal Thor, and now it's the mortal Thor, and the Incredible Hulk,
Right.
Savage Hulk,
Um,
the Immortal Hulk, the Fantastic Four, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Sensational Spider-Man, the Superior Spider-Man.
right.
ad infinitum across basic the uncanny X-Men, the astonishing X-Men, across all their lines basically.
Right.
The all new, all something Marvel. Like there's very few characters in Marvel that are just
Their own name.
whatever their actual name is, or at
Right.
least it seems that way.
Right.
DC is not quite that wild.
Right.
Like it's just Batman.
Yeah.
Unless you're feeling frisky, and then it's Batman Detective Comics.
Yeah.
It's just Superman, unless you've really got a kink fetish, and then it's Superman Action Comics.
Yeah.
Now, back in the early '90s, everybody had at least six titles running at any given time.
Yeah.
Superman had four at one time. He had Superman Action Comics, The Adventures of Superman, and Superman the Man of Steel. Like he was
I can
running.
imagine being part of that team, like the one part of the team that oversees all those teams to make sure they get that done. Because I can't imagine that that's not under one umbrella of corporate, if you will. You
I,
know.
I, and everybody, and the way I always understood it, one of the articles, bits of research I did was that like each title was responsible for telling a different set of stories
Yeah.
or a different kind of stories. Like if it was, if it was, and I might be remembering this wrong, but like if it was Action Comics, it would explore his Kryptonian heritage and it would deal with connection to Kryptonian history.
Right.
If it was Superman, it would address that was like the mainline title, so that would hit all the different everything.
Subcategories in there, if you will.
If it was the Adventures of Superman, that would focus on like the Clark Kent aspect,
Yeah.
the relationship between Clark Kent and Superman, and then Superman and the Man of Steel was like whatever else beyond all of that.
Yeah. The leftovers of the
Yeah,
hero.
yeah. So it would just catch whatever the leftovers were
So they were really trying to encompass making sure you knew who this character was and
in every
what he
different.
stood for. Yeah. And all the different parts of life.
But anymore, now everybody has one, maybe two if you're
You're
feeling
pushing it kind of too.
two,
Yeah.
you're pushing it. But everybody has one book, two books maybe, and it's just Superman. It's just Batman. It's just the Flash. It is not any more marketing team corporate speak than that. Like
Right.
there ain't no jazz hands.
Yeah.
It's you know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It doesn't need any more pomp and circumstance than that because it is that good all on its own.
Right. Well, it's like I was saying earlier, there's got to be a marketing thing behind it, you know.
And too many
Sounds better.
buzzwords,
Yeah.
too much synergy, too much corporate speak.
Yeah. Unless Stanley was just really all about his adjectives.
Excelsior. That's what Stanley was about.
Yeah.
Excelsior, true believers.
Hey, he was onto something.
I don't know how to. My Stanley is not very good, but
If somebody did an impersonation of Stanley, it'd be
I
pretty
imagine there's
good.
plenty of people out there who probably probably try their hand at it. We don't have time to go there because I doubt I would have it would not feel organic for me to just suddenly start being like, hey, here's my impression of whoever,
Yeah.
ad infinitum. But I've always told people that like I'm not good at doing impressions, like straight impressions, but
Right.
I'm good at doing impressions of other people's
That's
impressions.
why I was saying if somebody's already done an impression of Stanley, you'd nail that one.
I'd nail that guy's impression of Stan Lee, but I
Yeah.
could not myself do an impression of Stan Lee.
Right.
And that's
That's where the
the
cookie
weird
crumbles.
thing.
Yeah. It's
That is
funny.
the weird flourish there. It's like I can't draw, but I can draw somebody else's drawing.
Yeah. That's funny.
horrible. It means I have no real talent. I can just copy other people's talent.
I mean, isn't that what they're doing anyway?
Yes, yes, I am.
Mhm.
Michael.
Well, anyway, everybody, thank you for your time today.
We hopefully did it. Got this in the can
I know we got
without
one hiccup, but
without bruising it too bad. We're gonna check on things before we print, and we will see you guys next time.
until next time.